Old employer is withholding last paycheck. I gave my 2-week notice and my last day was May 26th. On the 20th of June, I noticed I hadn't received my last paycheck, so I texted her. She didn't respond until a few days later when I texted her about a separate matter, and said she would look into it. Haven't heard about it since then, so I texted her again today, no response. We got paid over Venmo so I can see her transactions and I know she's been paying her employees. We left things on fine terms. I have no idea why she's refusing to pay me for my last couple weeks of work. I have horrible social anxiety and just texting her is hard enough. I have no idea how I'm going to make it through any potential legal proceedings. Why do I feel bad for taking time off? I work heavy construction. I do form work, building towers in downtown Kelowna, steady 7 to 5 shifts Monday through Friday and every other Saturday half days. It's not for the light-hearted. I also go in a couple hours early on concrete pour days. I'm taking 2 weeks off to fly home to Ontario to see my family and a couple of the foremen are chirping about it. I do feel bad for leaving them all in the grind while I'm not there, but fuck that. Why do I feel bad? Slave to society? Sorry if this doesn't belong here, but I'm feeling uneasy about having time off and I don't know why. How to stop being picky for jobs. The way this is read is like I have a choice to work or not. I don't. I need the money, but I know who I am and my work ethic. I am in it for the money. I have no want to work at all. So, best thing for me to do is find a job I can tolerate so I'm not being drained 24/7. Problem is I have face piercings I would not take out just for a job, and I'm 19 so I have little experience and no college degree. Now I could rant all day on how searching for a job is hard enough on its own, especially on Indeed, but my problem is how I choose between shitty working conditions with a shitty pay, or changing myself for a job. I feel weird complaining about it since I've only been working since 2020, but it's honestly how I feel. Any advice for good jobs or just how to get over this feeling? Stop review bombing businesses that have been exposed here. Every time I see a business name mentioned here for bad employment practices, I go to Google to see if anyone has mentioned anything bad in reviews before the post. Lately, every time I check, the business suddenly has 500 plus 1-star reviews talking about their shitty management. Don't y'all know that when a business gets review bombed, Google goes through and purges all of their bad reviews? They only leave up the positive reviews and thus hide any negative publicity from the average Google user looking for a bite to eat or something. I want to leave a scathing review as much as the next guy, but it's literally counterintuitive. I'm not sure what exactly can be done instead, but review bombing only helps the business in the end, so please do not do that. Maybe just go upvote any pre-existing 1-star reviews, or something similar. Anyone have any alternative ideas? My job's pay has much to be desired, but at least my co-workers are fun. We had to cut down and clean up more trees today, and me and my co-workers found joy in poking each other with branches when we weren't paying attention. Of course, I also had co-workers giggling as they deliberately loaded up my cart in such a way so leaves were poking me in the head as I drove away, but really I can't help but wonder what bystanders saw. I mean, at one point me and a co-worker got into a short-lived sword battle and I was teasing another co-worker by mock paddling because of how slow their vehicle was. Wish I got paid more, but I can't complain too much outside of that. New job is way harder than advertised and salary is nowhere near what it should be. What do? I got a job working presages for insurance. The training was so terrible, it's difficult to even put into words. 8 weeks of remote training for one aspect of a system as outdated as it is complicated. We're literally working on a Windows 95 style application. They moved on to the next subject before we solidified any information from the previous one. So by the time we got out on the floor we were hand-holding an already swamped production team. The day-to-day is way overcomplicated. So many steps, applications, and people to exchange information with, an infinite amount of tiny things to remember for every line of coverage. It's not a wonder training was a nightmare. There's no way to effectively teach this knotted mess of a system. Fucking nursing school was easier than this. Now that I'm out of training, I'm seeing that this job is grossly underpaid. I live in California, and they pay $50K a year. For the amount of hoops we have to jump through in a disjointed management team with conflicting workplace ideals, it's not worth it. I'm have my first child in November and this will let me work completely remote with a doctor's signature and provide me with maternity leave and benefits that I need while having a baby. But beyond that, is my only option to leave? How do you notify upper management that this role is grossly disproportionate to the pay? Company had me front money for a business trip hotel. Today my manager sent me the credentials for the hotel I will be staying at for a business-related training trip in October. He asked me to reserve a room using my card, and then to send the reservation code to the training/development manager for them to finalize payment. I thought nothing of this, thinking my card would be liable in the event of damages to the room. I reserve the room, $800 for a 5-night trip, and send the reservation to the training manager. This is where it got hairy. The training manager is on vacation for a while, and I see the pending charge of $800 in my account. There is enough in my account to pay for it, but it digs a little too deep for my comfort level. I have all the faith that the company will reimburse me, but I don't know when it'll be. Is there any way to charge interest on my money to the company? Obviously if it's a week, it's a non-issue, but a month, 2 months? I like my money to work for me, not for my employer. Anti-work cock block me. An ex-girlfriend of mine texted to see how I was doing and if I wanted to meet up. I'm like, sure, it's a good idea to get me a steady before monkeypox craps all over my single life. We meet up and she tells me she is the boss at some new place doing payroll and brags about how she can work anywhere just from her phone. I'm thinking whatever, I could care less about being a boss over others. Wow, congrats boss lady. She then goes on to talk about her underlings and how the manager made everyone get back to the office. I couldn't hold it. Wow, you are one of those boss types. I'd need more than Viagra for this turn off. She right away detected my resentment. Well, we made them but we knew they wanted to come back. I'm like, yeah right GTFO. Did you actually ask them? She was now trying to walk it back but she wasn't going to straight up lie to me. Yeah, but that's why we compromised on hybrid. They come into the office minimum 2 days a week. They enjoy it. I just kept eating my food. She could tell I did not like any of her reasoning. She then mentioned she noticed I have psoriasis on my hands in a few places and made some weird gross out face when I explained, then she abruptly ended our date. Red alert weather warning, A/C broke. In England right now, we've been given a red alert weather warning and yet some people are still in the office despite the work from home orders and public health advice. LOL, the AC also broke at my workplace last week. I don't understand. It's like COVID didn't happen? Can my employer punish me for quitting after using paid sick time off? I've been at this job for about a month. At first I knew it wasn't ideal for me, but took it primarily because they offered a week of paid sick leave right from the start, and I'm having surgery next week. Recovery is basically 3 weeks, so my sick leave pay is being applied to the first week, and after that it's just time I've been allowed to take off. I'm paid weekly, so I'll get the sick leave pay on the second Friday of my time off, with 1 full week before the date I told them I would return to work. Turns out I hate this job a lot more than I could have predicted. I'm looking for other jobs and telling them that my earliest start date is the same date that I told my current job I would be returning from recovery. If I do end up landing a new job, and tell them after I've already received the sick pay, and likely won't be returning to work at all after receiving that sick pay, can they retaliate in any way? With the timing of the surgery and hopefully a new job lined up, I don't anticipate giving a full 2 weeks notice. I'll have to return to the office at some point just to drop off supplies, but outside of that I really do not intend to return at all after my surgery if I can help it. Will they have any way to punish me for taking sick leave and then just leaving? My boss is leaving. This is unusual for this sub, but my direct supervisor is the absolute best person to work for. I work with a lot of dumbasses, but he is always on point and always helps everyone out by allowing them to do what they need to do while still making sure everyone is properly equipped and scheduled. He is the only person I've ever respected this much. And he's leaving. Everyone else is a dumbass here. I'm talking boomer, don't know how to read a computer screen, or even how to read graphs or make Excel sheets. I'm a bit worried about them taking over as my supervisor, but more importantly, I just overheard him talking and they offered him a gas card to stay. This guy has been here since they opened, and I'm telling you all, without him this place wouldn't have the amount of loyalty and respect the workers have. And all they offered him was a gas card. I'm offended on his behalf. I don't know how they think people are so expendable. I would expect them to turn the place inside out to get him to stay. I guess not. Applied for a new job after only 3 months at current one. I've been at my current job for 3 months. I'm just not happy there. The environment isn't what I thought it would be, and just feels kind of ick. I don't get along with the majority of my coworkers. I find their views very impressive and authoritative. We work in an emergency shelter. They pay sucks. And I've been exposed to a lot of violence that I just really don't like. A job I am far more interested in is hiring, and they pay is a huge improvement. It's something I'm far more interested in doing, and the risk of violence to myself would be almost zero. The thing is, I'm feeling guilty for applying for it. I know I shouldn't because it's just a damn job. Any advice? What do I do with these emotions?